The biggest challenge we might have to face is self-forgiveness and getting rid of that guilt that we have, getting rid of the past. So why is it that we can give other people, those who have hurt us, forgiveness in that form of love and not ourselves? And so in order to obtain the things that we have and meant for us today and to live the life that we're meant to have, we have to let go. Hi guys, hi, welcome back. Thank you for checking this channel out. So we're just gonna jump right into it, and today I'm gonna talk about something very personal and actually a very tough topic to speak on because I'm going through it personally. But today I'm going to talk about forgiveness, and not just forgiveness but self-forgiveness, and how it's a form of self-love and required for us to live a soft and feminine energy. And so I'm going to talk about why it's important, but also how to have self-love for yourself. And this is a very important topic because we have so much to do here in this life. We were placed here for a reason. We have so many blessings to receive, so many things to experience. But sometimes we can't do that because we're so busy and so focused on living in the past that we're no longer here in the present. And we also devalue ourselves because we're not forgiving ourselves from all of the mistakes that we've done, and just the past, the failures that we've done, that we've had in the past. It's so much, and it can take a toll on us. And I know this personally because I find myself constantly living in the past. During the past few months and weeks, I've been focusing on that. I've been healing from the past, but forgiving myself. Self-forgiveness is a form of self-love. It's actually a very high form of love. And it's being able to no longer see somebody in the light from what they once was, and focusing on the present and continuing to love. So why is it that we can give other people, those who have hurt us, forgiveness in that form of love and not ourselves? Like, why is it that we can shower somebody, put them in that place, cleanse them of all of that image, but we can't do that for ourselves? And we're constantly being hard on ourselves. Maybe it's because we're constantly trying to be perfect. Or maybe it's because we have traumas that we haven't healed from. Or maybe it's because we just don't feel good enough. And maybe it's because it's all of the above. And that's okay because it's life and it's lessons learned. But I'm here to tell you that it's all a part of the journey. And in order for us to get to this place of self-love and this soft, happy, feminine life, the biggest challenge we might have to face is self-forgiveness and getting rid of that guilt that we have, getting rid of the past, living in the past. Because guess what? The past no longer exists. It only exists up here. But all of this is present. And so in order to obtain the things that we have and that we have meant for us today and to live the life that we're meant to have, we have to let go. And so that's what I'm going to be talking about. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about why we should forgive ourselves and then how to do that. But let's talk about what self-forgiveness is, why it's so hard for us to have that form of self-love for ourselves. And for me, I realized a part of the reason why it's so hard for me to shower myself in that love is because I hold myself, and I'm sure you do too, to high standards. But maybe we're trying to be too perfect. Maybe we're trying to walk a life where we don't make mistakes, we don't fail, and we're so hard on ourselves. And we're constantly thinking about all of the wrong that we've done, all of the failures we've made, all of the mistakes we've made, and the wrong turns, and the things we've done that we shouldn't have. Or I wish I could have done this, I wish I could have done that. And we're constantly just trying to be perfect. But truth is, nobody's perfect. Nobody. And this life is meant for us to experience. You have to be patient with yourself. You have to have forgiveness. And that's what forgiveness is. It's being able to step into that space and forgiving yourself for getting it wrong. loving yourself enough for understanding that you're not perfect. It's being aware that you're not perfect. And it's acknowledging all of your mistakes that you've made and everything that has happened to you. Forgiveness, like I said, is a form of self love. So once you get rid of that mindset that I'm perfect, I have to be perfect, or I can't make mistakes, and you realize that life is here for us to make those mistakes, it's kind of easier for us to have that self love, for us to step into that space of self forgiveness. Because it's hard trying to be perfect all the time. It's hard trying to have everything together all the time. It's hard trying to be in control. But life is hard. It's hard, and it throws us punches, and there's not really a rule book on how to do things right, all the time. And even though I read the word and get into that, I still make mistakes. But guess what? I'm learning, and so are you. It's all a part of it. But we're not meant to be perfect. We're not meant to live a challenge free life. So think about it. When you love somebody, when you're trying to love yourself and you want to forgive them, you see them in their worst light possible. And they're not perfect. You see them at their lowest. You see them through hard times. And you still choose to forgive. You still choose to cleanse them from that image. And you still choose to love them and to continue on that path towards loving them. And that's a journey. And so that's the same thing for ourselves. That's what forgiveness is. It's no longer seeing ourselves in that light, no longer seeing ourselves in that past and the mistakes we may have made in the past, and gently, patiently cleansing ourselves from that image and getting to that place of self-love. We have to be patient with ourselves. So point number 2, I talked about what forgiveness is, but let's talk about how boring life would be if we lived a perfect life. So in order for us to forgive ourselves for not being perfect, we have to go through life. And I'm going to tell you a secret, or tell you something that helps me. That's understanding that life would be boring without these mistakes. Mistakes are going to happen, failures are going to happen. And if you are someone that's younger and just watching this, you are going to make mistakes. You are going to fail. You are going to have failures in your life, venture off to the wrong path. But it's still beautiful. It's still a beautiful life to have, a beautiful life and path to walk in. And it's okay, because life would be so boring if everything was perfect. If we had everything laid out for us and we knew exactly what we needed to do, we knew exactly what the right answer was, but it would just be boring. There would be no fulfillment. There would be no lessons learned, nothing to obtain. And what type of quality of life would that be? And so it's something I had to realize, and I'm trying to explain it to you. And it's that it's okay that you made mistakes. It's okay that, you went through certain things, or maybe you ventured off to the wrong path. Maybe you got further away from God or your religion and your morals and values. Or maybe you're living it right now and you're making mistakes at this moment and you're trying to get back up. But that's what makes life so beautiful. It's the journey towards it. It's learning the lessons that's learned, and it's experiencing it. Life is so beautiful when you dive in and take those leaps and make those mistakes, go through the failures. I just want you to know that it's okay to make those mistakes, and it's okay that, like I say, your life is not perfect. But life would be boring without these mistakes. Point number 3, you're keeping yourself in the place less than you deserve. You're keeping yourself in the younger version of you, in the weaker version of you, but you're keeping yourself also in the place of a past that no longer exists. And if you're there, physically you're going to be there as well. And so you're kind of taking the value off of yourself. Because when I think about this, and as I'm going through the process, as I'm dating, as I'm going forward in my career and all of my other goals, Sometimes I feel like I'm not worthy. Sometimes I feel like I don't deserve these things. And I realize that's because I'm keeping myself in the past. I'm thinking about the mistakes I've made. How I continue to keep myself in the past, that's the value I give myself today in this present. And it's kind of hindering me and stopping me from living that life that I want to live because I feel like I'm not worthy. I don't deserve these things. I'm still this Brooke in the past. I've done A, B, and C. I don't deserve that. But like I keep saying, all of that is in the past. It doesn't matter. It doesn't exist. It was a mistake made. I've learned from it. It's no longer in the present. Right now, what exists is me and my mindset. I need to let go of all those things so that I can live that soft and feminine life. And we want these blessings that God has for us. We want these blessings. But we can't hold on to these blessings if we're holding on to the things in the past, holding on to the smaller things, stuff that doesn't matter, the thoughts that we have, the doubts that we give towards ourselves, the insecurities, the guilt. We can't grab on to the bigger blessings if we're holding on to something much smaller. And so that's what I'm going to talk about in this next topic: how to have self forgiveness, how to acknowledge that it's okay to make mistakes. It's okay that you had to go through what you went through in order to be here today. And so currently you're seeing yourself as someone less deserving. And we don't want to do that. We're not going to do that anymore. And we're going to gently work towards living a soft and feminine life, which requires us to tackle this difficult task, and that's self-forgiveness. I'm going to talk about what I'm doing and what I've done to kind of forgive myself and to have that form of self-love and to grow closer to myself. And so I'm going to put away my notes because this is coming from the heart, straight from the heart. And it's actually a very hard topic for me because it's what I've been going through. But if you're living in the past, you may feel this way. You may feel like you're constantly running from depression, or you're constantly running from this place that's going to catch up to you. And I realize that that's how I'm living my life. I have to keep moving. I have to keep moving forward. And if you think about it, I hate getting into the realm of masculine energy, but that is a form of masculine energy. Instead of just being soft and letting it flow, I'm I'm always running. I feel like I'm running from something. And I realized that instead of running, you know, instead of feeling like I'm in this place of just trying to escape something, let me tackle this head on. Let me see why I feel less deserving of the blessings that I receive, why I'm always blocking myself from my blessings. And I realized instead of running, I'm going to sit, turn around, and face whatever this feeling is face to face and see what it is. And that's what came to this conclusion about self-forgiveness, because I realized that I'm constantly living in the past. I'm always thinking about the mistakes I've made. I'm always thinking about the failures and what I've done wrong, and I'm holding it against myself, and I attack myself. And it wasn't until I stopped and I turned around and I looked at it face to face and went into the storm. I went into the storm and immersed myself into this feeling, and I realized it's me. I'm running from myself. I'm running from my past. I'm running from the things that hurt me, and most of the time it's how I hurt myself. And it's actually a very uncomfortable place to be. But that's one of the first steps towards having that self-forgiveness, and it's stopping, sitting with yourself and facing it head on, thinking about everything. And when I say gently, this is what I mean by gently. This is not going to happen overnight, but you're looking at these things, all of your mistakes, your past, your failures, and they're not failures, by the way, but everything that you've kind of, you made mistakes on. You look at it one by one and you tackle it one by one, very gently. Don't try to do it all at once. But that's what I had to do. As I laid down and sat with myself, instead of trying to be with everybody, I was in this space of being alone by myself. It called up to me, and I started thinking about all the situations that I was in, situationships, and failures and mistakes, and I started dissecting them. And you have to come face to face with them. You have to go into them, and you have to sit with it. And it's going to be very uncomfortable. It's going to last more than a few nights, and it's going to take some time, but you have to sit with it and acknowledge that these things happen. Acknowledge that they're a part of your past, it's a part of your life, and that it no longer exists. And you have to let all of the emotions come into you and sit with those emotions, think about them, and then let them go. Let the emotions come and go. And you have to realize that this is life. You gotta kind of be gentle with them, but also stern and strong. And you have to face them. You acknowledge that it happened and it exists. And then you have to say, I'm no longer that person. You have to be honest with yourself. You're free and you break free from that. And you have to make the decision and the choice to be like, I'm no longer this person. It happened and I learned from it. What did I learn from it? How can I continue to grow from this and not make those mistakes? And it's a very hard thing to do, but it's the most freeing thing to do. And if you say it out loud, I'm no longer this person, or this no longer has control over me. Every night, every time you feel this feeling coming into you, a little piece of you break free from that thought more and more, and you continue to grow. And it's a beautiful thing. And it's something I had to go through, something I'm going through now. And you know, that's the first step. You're facing this thing head on. You're not running from this feeling. But the second step is being alone. In order for you to acknowledge these things, you have to be alone. You have to be silent with yourself. You have to put yourself in these positions where you're not hanging out with friends all the time. You're not going on dates. You're not keeping yourself busy with work. And for me, that's one-on-one time with God. That's laying in my bed, sitting there, thinking about everything. You have to force yourself to be in that space. You have to force yourself to be alone, to be quiet, and let it catch up to you. And that's really hard because when we live in this present life, we're constantly, it feels like we're running a race, trying to break free from the past. And I heard somebody say, you have to go into the storm. You have to dance in the rain. You have to acknowledge it and enjoy it and understand that it's still a beautiful life. And so that's what I want to encourage you to do. I want to encourage you to stop moving and to look at these things face to face and forgive yourself for everything. Love yourself and tell yourself that you're no longer this person and you're going to grow. And so guess what? You're going to continue making mistakes. It's all a part of life. It's never going to end. If it's not one thing, it's something else. But in order for us to handle these mistakes, to have that mindset like I'm deserving of this life, I'm deserving of the things that God has for me, it's because you know you went through what you went through and you acknowledge it and you're telling yourself that you're no longer this person. You grew from this, you're learning from this, and I'm capable. I'm strong enough to do the things that I'm required to do now, to live this life that I'm required to live now. I can do it and I deserve it. And that's because I made it through my past. I forgive myself from my past. I'm no longer that person. I'm a better version of my person. I can sit with myself and be alone and face this feeling that I'm feeling and strong enough to get through it. And so I want to encourage you to do that. In order for you to be soft, to live a soft and feminine life, to receive that passionate love from other people, you have to love yourself and you have to forgive yourself. And in order to do that, you have to face your past. You have to face that person face to face and tackle it gently and be patient with yourself. And that's completely fine. And you got it. I got it. And this was actually a very transparent and tough conversation to have because I'm going through it myself. But a part of this is acknowledging that you're no longer going to be bound to this feeling of doubt, of guilt, of a little bit of hatred towards yourself. You're no longer going to be restrained to that feeling. You're a higher version of yourself now, and a year from now you're going to be an even higher version from here. And so a part of that is acknowledging it. We are going to live beautiful, soft, passionate lives, but we have to face the past. And I know it's hard, I know it's challenging, but you have to dance in the rain. You have to turn around. You can't run from it, and you gotta face it. And you deserve it. I want to remind you that you deserve this. You deserve this love from yourself. The same love that you may give to others who may have hurt you, you deserve that love, that patience, that gentle healing with yourself, that cleansing. And it's a beautiful journey, and I want to remind you that it's okay. You're okay. We're going to be okay. So, okay. Anyway, thank you for tuning in and watching, and I hope this helps. So, yes, I have to head out in a bit. It's cold outside here in Dallas, so I might show y'all the dress I wear because I like shopping, but I love y'all. Know that you guys are loved, and I'll see y'all soon. So I'm about to go to a birthday party, and I'm about to go shop and try to find a birthday dress, a dress to wear at this birthday. That was my stomach. I'm so hungry.